Why traditional study fails to compete with shame. This is a main call-out used to describe the most important informations within this scene. Why one embarrassing English mistake can teach you more than months of study. This is a short call-out section designed to highlight and clearly communicate the most important information and key details within the scene. Imagine spending 500 hours studying English. You memorize vocabulary, you complete grammar exercises, you pass quizzes, but a year later, most of it is gone. Now imagine this. You accidentally tell a colleague, "I am boring," when you meant "I am bored." Everyone laughs. 10 years later, you still remember that mistake. Why? How can one awkward moment defeat hundreds of hours of traditional study? And why do language learning apps, despite all their technology, struggle to create memories as powerful as real-world embarrassment? The answer lies in how the human brain decides what is worth remembering. Traditional education assumes that repetition creates learning. The formula seems simple: read, repeat, practice, remember. But the brain doesn't work like a recording device. The brain is actually a prioritization machine. Every second it asks, is this important enough to keep? In a classroom, the stakes are usually low. If you use the wrong preposition during a worksheet, nothing significant happens. If you forget a vocabulary word, life continues normally. Your social status doesn't change. Your relationships aren't affected. Your brain receives very little evidence that the information matters. As a result, much of what is learned remains weakly encoded. Students may pass tests, yet weeks later, much of the information fades. This isn't because they're lazy. It's because the brain didn't view the material as essential for survival or social success. Now let's compare that classroom to real-world communication. Imagine you're speaking English during an important meeting. Your boss is listening, colleagues are listening. You make a mistake. Maybe people laugh. Maybe someone will correct you. Maybe nobody says anything, but you feel embarrassed anyway. Suddenly, everything changes. Your heart rate increases, your attention sharpens, your emotions activate. Your brain receives a powerful message: pay attention, this matters. Scientists have long known that emotional experiences are remembered more strongly than neutral ones. When emotion enters the picture, memory becomes more durable. This is especially true for social emotions. Humans evolved in groups. For thousands of years, social acceptance influenced survival. Being rejected by the group could be dangerous. As a result, the brain treats social mistakes as highly important events. And language mistakes often occur in social situations. That is why one embarrassing conversation can become unforgettable. Here's the fascinating paradox. Most language learners forget thousands of study sessions, but they remember one embarrassing mistake for decades. Think about it. Can you remember a random grammar exercise from 5 years ago? Probably not. Can you remember an awkward language mistake from 5 years ago? Many people can remember it instantly. Some even remember exactly where they were, who was there, what they said, and how they felt. Why? Because memory isn't determined by repetition alone. Memory is strongly influenced by emotional significance. The brain asks, what had consequences? A forgotten worksheet rarely has consequences. An embarrassing public mistake often does. This doesn't mean embarrassment is pleasant. But from the brain's perspective, it is highly educational. The emotional discomfort acts like a spotlight. It tells the brain, store this carefully, don't repeat it. When you answer incorrectly in an app, very little happens. You simply tap again. There is no audience, no social pressure, no meaningful consequence. Your brain may understand the information intellectually, but emotionally, the experience feels small. As a result, many digital lessons remain less memorable than real conversations. This doesn't mean apps are ineffective. Far from it, apps are valuable for building knowledge. The challenge is that knowledge and memory are not always the same thing. The strongest learning often occurs when knowledge meets emotion, and real-world communication naturally provides that emotional component. So why does traditional study struggle to compete with shame? Because the brain doesn't simply remember what we study, it remembers what feels important. Classrooms provide information, real life provides consequences. Study sessions provide repetition. Embarrassing moments provide emotion. And emotion tells the brain, this matters. The goal isn't to seek embarrassment, it's to understand why those moments feel so unforgettable. Every awkward conversation, every incorrect preposition, every language mistake you wish you could erase may actually be evidence that learning is taking place. Because while you may forget hundreds of textbook pages, your brain rarely forgets the lessons attached to genuine human experience, and sometimes one uncomfortable moment teaches more than 1,000 comfortable ones. What's one English mistake you'll never forget? Share it in the comments. You might discover that the mistakes you remember most are the ones that taught you the most.